back for day 2, section 3 on this Superman Movie Masters figure tutorial. Basically, what we're looking at now is the smooth version of the figure we were looking at. We left off yesterday. We've taken off a lot of the muscle mass and just really slimmed up the arms and also the torso, of course. I think for this round, we're gonna leave the legs at their current mass, I guess, basically, but we're just gonna smooth over with some epoxy once we get into some sculpting there. We're gonna end up taking over the upper legs and the upper torso, of course, and then maybe try and do some tricks with the middle torso. But definitely in this spot right below the belt, since we have this gap now, we've actually taken the belt off and flipped it upside down. That's going to elongate the middle torso basically, and bring the belt up a little bit higher and shorten that upper torso. Because back in the 70s, it was not that weird to wear your pants up as high as they did. So anyway, we've slimmed down the elbows as well. We've actually cut into the bicep area and brought that arm in a little bit. So now we get a little bit tighter closure on that. That's gonna help a lot when photographing for the flight poses and stuff. Really just kind of add some honesty to that anatomy there. We are using our 1978 Superman the Movie Treasury edition as a reference on scale and physique and you know, just some of the minor textures that we're going to be taking a look at creating later. But that's a good reference to have. Picked that thing up for like $3 in Nashville one weekend. And let's see, we are going to take this new Krypton head, and I would like to preserve that. I don't really like to cut into my originals when it comes to a piece like this, because you know, you can pick these up fairly easily, but it's going to be, you know, $20 a pop trying to get these figures and just pop the heads off, and that's kind of a waste. So, as I use this Illuminolite from Illuminolite.com, this is an RTV silicone, room temperature vulcanizing. That means there's not much of a process to curing this. You just got to be patient. I pour my molds in these 2-ounce to-go containers, basically. You can get a sleeve of these for about $10. You get about 200 of them, and basically you pour your solution in there. You don't have to use Illuminolite. You can use any kind, but do read the instructions because there might be a different proportion of mixing this stuff. I pour my mold in there, and you want to build your figure up about 1/4 inch off of a base, and just give it something to hold it above the top of the container so it doesn't sink all the way down in there. And then once you pour your resin, it's going to expand a little bit out of the top of that mold, and I give myself a little relief right here in the back, and I'll talk about this hole right here later. But I just give myself a little relief, and you can pop that cast right out. And so now we have a Christopher Reeve new Krypton head that, you know, doesn't cost you as much money anyway as just buying a figure for the head. We're going to do some alterations to that head before we actually end up going into casting and everything, or painting and priming and everything. Something I've noticed when making these molds is sometimes you have a little bit of trouble with the detail, like the nose. You know, this new Krypton head has a pretty fine pointed nose and a lot of detail to it. It's kind of capturing a lifelike likeness, so it's important to have your cast come out cleanly. So what I've had to end up doing was I've been having some trouble with the noses, so I went into my cast and just kind of bored out a hole where I can kind of access that spot where the nose points out, and I can actually poke a hole in there and give it a relief channel, so that when I pour that resin, it's actually forcing itself into that nose, and then you can just kind of mess around with it a little bit to draw that resin through, and that'll cast your nose pretty well. The rest of the parts, though, seem to cast all right. The silicone mold is what we're using to start your cast, and then Illuminolite makes their A and B solutions 2-part resin. equal parts. You know, I like to mix more than I need because then I can always throw a little bit more into another cast or mold somewhere in case I want to have extras or something else. So basically, that's where we are so far. Let's see, I actually have a primary cast of a head we've done already. This is treated a little bit. Let's get this camera down some. This is treated a little bit because I'm actually going to go in and remove a lot of this hair volume off of the original. I don't know what it is, but it's got this 1990s look to it. I don't know what it is about the hair, but it just kind of stands out too much. So I've actually gone in and knocked off everything but that spit curl up top. So I'm actually going to start fresh with the hairdo, except for that one detail, because I really think the slimmer profile of the head will look a little bit more accurate and realistic. And once we get everything sculpted on there, it should look pretty sharp. And to sculpt, I always use epoxy sculpt, A and B. It's a two-part compound, you know, equal parts of each of these guys. I work dry, and I work in really thin layers when I'm applying this stuff. I just kind of make myself a little ball, flatten it out as thin as I can, and just kind of mash it into place. And then once it's in place, I'll work it wet, because that helps your tools stay clean, and it also it gives you a lot of clean work when you're getting there and smoothing things in and making your line work for detail. Basically, that is it. So we're going to be working with epoxy sculpt to handle the upper torso, upper legs, and a little bit on the head as well. And we'll actually do a sculpted cape top as well as we did on the version 5, which is going to give us that control of how that cape presents itself up top. And then we will flush cut that sculpted edge right here on the back, and then we'll be attaching our fabric cape to the back of that. So once we get things going, we will check back in and let you know what the progress is. And that is it. Thanks for watching.